Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
Your career is heading into disappointment. It's your third season. What a great time for Brett Favre to walk into your life, and that was definitely the case for Sidney Rice. As Brett Favre came in, Rice had over 80 receptions, over 1,300 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns, and that was just in the regular season. As remember, he absolutely dominated against the Dallas Cowboys in his playoff game. In that particular game, he dominated. So, we've seen Sidney Rice take it from, being a guy that, had talent coming into the league. And, those first couple of years, he really didn't get that much done. He was kind of, looking like maybe this was a disappointment, with this player and his talent. But that was not to be the case. Brett Favre, hey, he came in, and Sidney Rice, Brett Favre kept saying, hey, nobody can stop you. Well, if there really were people that could stop him, it was getting hard to tell as the season went deeper, because Rice started believing it, and with Favre's talent throwing the football to him, those two made one heck of a pair. This is just one more chapter for Brett Favre. He's had, I can't remember how many receivers this guy has turned in from being guys that maybe you didn't know anything about. And then all of a sudden they become highly fantasy relevant players at receiver as he's still on that team. Favre, obviously it's May, June time here. He hasn't committed, nor will he commit to, probably coming back to the team till late summer, but I'm pretty darn sure he's going to come back. If he wasn't coming back, he would have probably told us early on, in the off season. Even then, he still might have come back, so he could retire 2 more times this summer, and I still won't believe that he's not coming back until, I just don't see a full season go by until maybe about halfway through the season. And if he still doesn't come back, then, I'll believe it. Because, with Brett, I wouldn't put it past him if 6 weeks into the season he'd even come back. But, no, look for Brett to come back probably in August again. I'm sure he, just like last year, he doesn't want to have to go through all the, the summer camps and this and that. He'll probably waltz in around the second preseason game or so and show up, and just like last year, and no one is really should question it. Obviously the media will, they'll beat it to death all summer. Why? Because ratings, and people are going to tune into that. But other than that, that's really all that's about. That's why they're even still talking about it right now, because obviously the guy, he came in mid-August last year and he absolutely tore it up. So if he could do that coming into a team that he hadn't even played for now, let alone playing on a team that he took all the way almost to the Super Bowl last year. So look for Sidney Rice. I say all that, look for Sidney Rice. Obviously, his fantasy value is best with Brett Favre on the field. So, right now we have him ranked around, the 12th best fantasy receiver to take. If Brett should not play for some reason, and let's say Sage Rosenfels is still in there, I don't think Sidney Rice's value goes down that much, actually. As, with Sage, he's not the talent that Brett Favre is, but he is still a gunslinger. I mean, the guy has, he's aggressive, he's confident in his arm. Maybe he shouldn't be that confident in his arm, but that's just how he is. He's going to make his interceptions, yet at the same time, he's going to make some plays. We saw that with the Texans and how he played. When I used to have Matt Schaub back in the old days, there were some leagues where I would actually have a team quarterback. So even if Schaub would go down, I wasn't sure that I'd get the backup to start. And so, I never had a problem drafting the Texans quarterback, because I knew, well, heck, if Schaub goes down, Sage Rosenfels, he's just going to walk in there and start throwing the ball just like he does. Maybe not as good, but he's going to throw the ball all day long as well. So, with Sage, he's going to keep doing that, and I would expect Rice to still be a good, productive receiver, not as productive as with Favre again. But, the only thing that I would be really concerned about with Rice is if Tavarius Jackson were to come in, and Tavarius, when we do see him come out and play, he still looks like the old Tavarius, where he's just, he goes into long slumps, and, it seems like the only time he can be, any type of solid productivity is when he's coming off the bench. That's not going to get it done for Sidney, and that would be a big concern. But other than that, Sidney, if he's got Brett Favre back, which he should be, a big-time playmaker. I expect him to go over 1,200, yards, 1,300 yards again this season. Probably getting maybe around double-digit touchdowns this season as he continues to mature. And he's got a season under his belt with Brett Favre. And Brett, obviously, when he locks onto a guy that he really likes, and we all know he really likes Sidney, because, again, he tells Sidney there ain't nobody that can beat you. And so he believes that, and Sidney also is believing that more and more all the time. So look for Rice to have another solid fantasy season for you.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy